Yeah, you would call it a downgrade, and I do too. And that's, that's for you to take up with the commissioner. Yeah. Yeah, it's both of us. Yeah, but we're not in that capacity right now. We'll discuss any deals that are made later. But I think the court played well. I think it was nice to have the fans there. It was nice to hear the tears of his supporters, and just to be so, and honestly, it's a credit to him and his fans to have people that are so invested in a preseason game that they would be crying for 30, 40 minutes ceaselessly. I mean, that's I've never had that, and I would like to have that.
Full bird. It was a full bird. It was a long time coming, but he got part of his dad out of the way. It shows growth on his end. We've all been worried. We haven't heard from him in the off season. No one's really known where either of us have been. It's been a tumultuous off season as far as not knowing our facilities. And now that these things are finally in order, it's nice to also continue celebrating one of my multiple championships and just further cements me as the best player in the world for that year.
No, he shouldn't. He should not make any assumptions about whether or not he'll get that second meal simply because he got the first. I got this one. I take things day by day, and I recommend that he do the same, because any assumptions that he makes about how I will act just might not be accurate, because I honestly don't know what I'll do tomorrow. I don't know what I'll do 5 minutes from now, and nobody does, least of all him. So no, he should not count those chickens before they hatch. He should not count those birds before they are cooked, and I think he should just enjoy the food that he has in front of him today and savor the taste.
Well, look, John, and thank you for asking another question. I'm not worried about a preseason game. I think that more than anything, it just showed that we have local options. We have a beautiful facility that was built for us by the BMA this offseason, and they credit to the workers. Construction crew got that done so quickly, and put a lot of unnecessary landscape touches to the entire park. We only needed a court, but the park is a nice, it's an added benefit.
And to put a whole neighborhood around it like that.
I think it definitely boosted the overall infrastructure of College Park, which is great, and credit to the BMA, to the commissioner, and to the construction crew that they chose. But as for the game, I'm just happy to be back, and we'll talk about that when we get to the regular season.
Yeah, he should be terrified.
They're gonna.
I came out dominant.
Holy shit.
They're getting closer and closer. You can see the lights shining on our faces. They've actually finally stopped, so I'm going to go ahead and continue answering. But yeah, you should be terrified about that game, because he shot lights out and he lost that game, and that was due to my dominating performance, my rock solid defensive effort. And there were many reminders of why they call me Abdul-Jabbar that game. And honestly, every time I shoot a shot, I just hear, I hear Abdul in my head. And I can assure you, and you could ask him this, and honestly, I know what he has to answer. He was hearing Abdul in his head too, as I was hitting those shots in his eye. So I would be very nervous if I were him. I would be scared. And I would go back to the drawing board, because frankly, whatever he came up with didn't work today, and I don't think it would work tomorrow. Yeah.
Well, no. It's not unlike me to have Paul Abdul stuck in my head during games. It's not unlike me to have her stuck in my head after games. I don't think that's any of his concern. I think what he should be concerned with, I think, it's easy to ask him about the staffing. It's easy to ask him about the diet. I think that, my game has done the talking for me for 2 years. He's had to do the talking to explain himself the last 2 years, and, I think that's just where I'll leave it.
Last one. Yeah. Yeah, it's a new staff. They know the position they're in, and in simple terms, it's a precarious one. They know that the first mistake will result in the loss of the livelihood for their family, for their kids. They won't be able to eat. And I think that gets the best out of him. I think that makes him want to perform for me. And I'm happy with their performance after this first game. And I'll see how I feel after the second game and after the season. But no, they shouldn't be comfortable. They should never be comfortable. If they're comfortable, then I'm doing something wrong as their leader, as the head of this team. If they feel any sense of stability and frankly happiness, then I'm doing something wrong. So I make sure that they don't feel those things, and I make sure that all of those families feel deeply unstable in the position they're in, and like it could fall out from under them at any minute.
Thanks, guys.